So I'm out for a walk. This time I'm going to just try to stop for a moment. So I wanted to make a follow-up video to the circles of intimacy and acquaintances and strangers and dangers. And specifically, I said that of your inner circle, when someone is in your inner circle, if they're there, you know it because they're there. And you know that they're there because they're there. So I want to clarify about what I mean by being there, because someone could be there. Someone can be there in your life, but with ill intentions, with the intention to use you, exploit you, harm you, control you, use you. I think I said that, use you, make you do what they want you to do, force you to not do what they don't want you to do. And ultimately, we really have a choice. Unless we're truly, truly enslaved and have no escape, we ultimately have a choice. And even in that situation, we can escape. So when I said that they're there, what I meant by that was that they hear you, they care about you, they want you to be your greatest version on your own terms. They are happy for you when things go the way you're hoping and not the way they're hoping. They support you to be your true self, not to conform to what they need. The thing is that everyone has their boundaries, everyone has their deal breakers, and that's exactly the way it is. That's the way it ought to be. That's the way it's going to be, And so when we can respect our own boundaries and our own needs, what that means is, instead of expecting someone to change and conform to your boundaries, or trying to be what someone else needs you to be in order to love you, you just be your true version and your truest self. And the people who love you as your truest self, and whatever evolution of you there is, those are the people in your inner circle. Like I said in one of the videos, you could be married to someone who has none of your best interests at heart and wants to just manipulate and use you. Use and manipulate, coerce, force, get you to do their bidding, get you to take care of them if they're ill, get you to run around for them and do millions of things, get you to work for their business for free or practically nothing, get you to do many, many jobs and take all the credit and give you none. And you willingly do it because you feel needed. And that's how you connect with or relate to love, to being loved, is by being busy. So those are not the people who are in your inner circle just because they work with you, just because it's your boss, even if it's your children, someone you've considered your best friend for 30 years, but who never really actually truly gets you. Who's always kind of at odds with what you really need, who's always steering you away from your truest desires because it doesn't align with what they need from you. Now I know it's really painful when you have a super close friend and what they need is to move across country or to another country altogether. That's painful. You don't want to lose people. But if they're really your friends, you don't really lose them. You may not get to see them in the same way you used to, but they're not lost. So we can't really lose what's ours as far as love connection, as far as those rubber bands of love infinitely connecting us no matter how far we go, no matter what lifetime we're in, no matter what dimension we're in or time zone. Being a person who grew up before the internet and all that stuff, I'm not really one for internet dating or any of that stuff, but then at the same time it's wow, I'm out here on YouTube talking about all this stuff, and I see that there's other people who are doing their own thing, and some of it is in a similar vibe as mine, and it's just really nice. It's really nice to see people and connect in a way with them that feels like so sincere, you know, like I'm actually genuinely on a walk right now. I'm not faking this walk. You know, this is it. This is me right now, walking through my hometown where I live, where I thought I wanted to grow old and be forever, you know, but now I see that that might not be so, and it's scary, it's terrifying. I mean, I moved so far away from the people I considered my inner circle. You know, I went to several different places, New Mexico, Chicago, California, and I learned and I experienced many things. I've been to Venezuela, Puerto Rico, I've been to Haiti. You know, I've been to many different places around in the U.S., many different states I visited, and many I haven't, and I've never been to Europe and all this stuff, you know. I thought that I wanted to travel endlessly. I thought I was never going to settle down. Remember one time I was saying goodbye to my dad when I was moving to California, and I basically had the intention of, oops, people, neighbor lady just came out. She was grilling on her grill. So I had this goodbye. I was moving to California. My dad was quite ill at the time, and they were already living up in the boonies in the mountains on the East Coast, and he said, I hope someday you finally decide to settle down somewhere. And I said, well, I don't think so, Dad. I plan on just being a nomad, just wandering rootlessly. And of course that didn't last forever. Look at this pretty tree. You know, of course I did not end up deciding and feeling, and I shouldn't say of course, because some people do live that way, and I don't want to knock it, because hey, if that's what you need, then that's what you get to have, you know. So not to diminish that type of life, but ultimately for me, you know, I needed to come back to my roots, or what I felt were my roots. And like I was saying in the one video, you know, if you keep reaching out to the periphery, it's like trying to grow a tree on concrete, you know. It's just not the right thing, not the right place to fertilize. Alright, so I'm still trying to figure out, like, you know, to clarify this message of the inner circle, meaning to focus attention on the people who show genuine love and concern. Not necessarily that they live closest to you, or that they're the most available, or that they're the most convenient person to be with. You know, and sometimes, unfortunately, not necessarily someone who lives next to you, although hopefully, ideally, you'll find someone who can be in your inner circle who is local, because that's like, I think, for me, that's like the ultimate goal of love, to be loved by someone truly, deeply, who is also close and local, and I get to see them frequently. You know, that's like my ideal version of love. And ideally, they'll be vegan, whole food, plant-based, oil-free, vegan, and they'll be cool with having a dance studio, you know, for fun, dancing for everyone, and non-professional dancers, and all kinds of fun stuff, and vegan food, healthy, non-junk food, and art. We're gonna sell art and pottery and music and dancing and all that stuff, you know, like that's my ideal. But the reality is that I'm standing in a tree and there's a car coming by. So the reality is that the person who's going to love me is going to have to be like, she's cool, she stands in a tree to take a video of herself and broadcast it on YouTube, because, not for money, just because she's a freaking weirdo who wants to reach out to other weirdos and heal herself through her weird way, you know. So yeah, so just for me, so I'm always talking to myself, hi self. So when you're out there and you meet people, you talk to people, just take a note of the ones who seem to be genuinely interested in you because something about you and them clicks and you feel the same about them, and not someone who's just clearly not interested. And I think the more that we realize the signs of a person who is interested versus when they're not, then I think that we can be more in tune, dive deep, and connect with people on a real level with who you genuinely are. So be true to your truest self and connect with people who appreciate that, and that you can appreciate them at their truest version, not at a modified, conditional version that you want them to be, but what they genuinely, truly are. Okay, bye. Thank you. So also a person could text you like every 10 minutes or every half an hour or call you constantly, and in that way seem like they're ever present, but that is not necessarily being there or being in your inner circle either. So it's really important to distinguish between a person who's ever present and a person who is genuinely in your inner circle, meaning the circle of you, the circle of who you genuinely are, and being closest to your truest nature. That's what I mean by being in there and knowing someone is there because they're there, which doesn't mean they're harassing you. It means that they are, that in their way of loving you, you feel free.
Who's there to comfort you when he said bye 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 bye, baby? Girl, I give you my time. Here is my money.